Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. I already talked about Vruz and I speculated about what it might be worth. I talked about how excited I am for this card, but today in this video, I'm going to spend 30 minutes communicating with one of my guild mates and with a live audience about not just generally what I think about this card, but specifically now that the stats are released, plus we're giving price predictions at the end here. I really think this card is amazing. I hope you'll stick around and stay tuned for why. Special thank you to Luinicisa, aka Oscu. Thanks guys, bye for now.
Yeah, let's have a look at the new card. I think it's really exciting.
Cool. So guys, I'm sure you are aware. I saw that Aftersound at least had talked about this in a video this morning, but we got the new Vruz stats out. I think it's Vruz with the V. I originally thought it was just the silent V, but I think it's Vruz. And man, Oscu, I'm liking this. What are you thinking about these stats here?
My initial thoughts when I saw this card was, this is amazing with Astral Entity. And then I saw like, oh, it's a dragon.
Mhm.
But it's amazing. Like, just imagine this guy with 7 speed, the evade, probably you pair it with a blind
Mhm.
in the last spot.
Mhm.
Oh, he would be nasty.
Yeah.
But still, he's going to be great. He's going to be one that can take out a Pelacor Bandit enraged with no problems in
Yeah.
two or three turns.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, this let's look at the stats and let's look at quickly like what we'd like from like at various levels. Where do we think he's good at, silver, bronze, silver, gold, or is it just these higher levels? And then let's move over to the market and let's see kind of what we think, how this would partner with which summoners, and maybe even we can land on a conversation around price point. But again, like just first of all, this card looks amazing, and I'm desperately going to want a higher level copy. I don't know if I'm going to need a level 400 or a level 10. The True Strike's nice. The extra speed is nice. But I kind of think even 220 is going to be a really necessary break point because that's where you get that second melee damage. And of course, I'm going to want the higher level, but price is going to be a factor. What are your thoughts on how this would sit in the bronze or the silver or the gold leagues? Is this going to be a must-have card at those levels?
Let's have a look. If I look at this card and I see dragon, I'm immediately thinking of the double strike sneak card.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have 2 sneak cards
Yeah.
doing damage in when you use dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what splinter you play.
Mm-hmm.
So look at those guys, and with the double strike at higher leagues, let's say you see him in silver already doing 4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So together with Vruz, he does 5 in silver.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And a good thing is Vruz is softening the enemy because he is so fast
Mm-hmm.
that he attacks before the infiltrator. That
Mm-hmm.
means that he's getting rid of the shield for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the infiltrator is going to doing 4 damage to the target.
Yep. And for the infiltrator has that cripple also at that level 5. So then you'd be potentially, if it was a bigger meat shield like a sandworm or something, you're gonna be adding that cripple damage.
Yep,
Sometimes
definitely.
I like to play if I'm doing a sneak attack of my own, or if I'm preparing for a defense of a sneak attack, I like to play a monster that has like 1 armor. And one of them I'll often do is that Uraeus, which has 1 single armor. And that would be, to your point, an example of, I think, how do you spell Uraeus?
It's RAE.
Urae. Yeah, he's got that 1
Oh no.
armor.
Yeah.
So if this was your sneak attack defense, your Vruz is going to hit that 1 armor, and then your Dampier Infiltrator is going to kill. And this is a 3 mana monster, and you're talking Vruz at 2 and Dampier at 4. Like, yeah, I mean, you might try as a counter, as an alternative. If you don't have those dragons, you're probably running, for instance, like a Uraeus, and maybe you've got, I see a lot of times if you're doing the blue team, you'll see the bandit, and then maybe you'll even see
Yeah.
the shark, and then you'll see Uraeus in the back line with the green. Sometimes I'll see. Actually, I don't see Goblin Thief very often. White, you'll see the Feral Spirit or the Stitch Leech or Silver Seal Assassin. What I'm saying is, you're probably looking at 6 mana to get a solid 2 attacker like what Feral Spirit plus a Uraeus, that's 3 and 3 mana. But then you go
Yeah.
over with the dragon, you're talking 2 and 4, and you're getting 3 attacks out of the Vruz, and then like you said, the Dampier. And the next closest thing for that sort of combo is going to be like 10 because you're talking Silver Shield Assassin plus the 3. So I feel like the dragon is really going to be powerful in this sneak attack, and it's not just because of, it is because of Dampier Infiltrator, but it's absolutely because of the new Vruz and his 2 mana cost, and how that 6 mana for that man for that sort of output.
Yeah.
And holy, yeah, I wasn't really taking this very seriously, but I think you're right. For 2 mana, one damage output, you're going to hit that armor, and then whether you're at the bronze or at the silver levels, you're gonna, and then you get at the silver, he's getting a martyr already. Level 5 is silver, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're getting a martyr already. And look, you could put Ruz in the back line and do what you said. He's got 7 speed. Maybe he dodges, and then you put Dampier beside it, and then you amp you get that martyr benefit to your Dampier in like going from 2 damage output to 3 in the silver range. That's pretty powerful for 6 mana.
And then just imagine you put a what's it called? Like what's the name of the guys who you can target?
You
Like a Dr. Blight.
camouflage.
Yeah, exactly. Put a camouflage monster behind this, so you basically get a guy who does double attack with 3, so dealing 6 damage. Plus, you can buff your blight,
Ooh,
or in the green
very.
team you have another one. You have in the black team you have this guy who can snipe the Mega Necrosi. Just imagine giving them one additional
Yeah,
magic damage to all of those guys.
very
And Dr.
smart.
Blight doing 4 damage at the top level, or the Bilchka doing 4 damage at the top level.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Countess Sinesh has the blast damage at the highest level. So if you get, and you got the camel, so you're talking about 4 archery output turning into 5 archery output, which is not just, it's not just 2 blast damage to either supporting, right? It's actually 3 blast damage to the neighboring
Yes.
monsters. So that's a very, I wouldn't have thought of that, I don't think. So you're saying in the 6th spot on your team, you would put a camouflaged monster of one of these shown on the screen probably, and then you're talking the new martyr sneak attack dragon, and then the Dampier or whatever else you really want, frankly, and then you're gonna get that true strike. You're gonna get your Dampier, or sorry, you're gonna get the Vruz being killed in the 5th spot because your camo in the 6th is not seen. Yeah, man, that's smart.
I'm my I think the cards that I would dream to put next to him
Hmm.
is this new legendary card with double attack, double melee, and double archery.
What is it called?
And I have
Oh,
no idea.
is it a?
It's a
It's a.
soulbound card. You can't buy him, so that's
Oh,
why he's not on Peak Monster.
okay.
Uh,
Let's go have a peek at, because I want to see what you're talking
It's
about here. I'm gonna
It's
go
a
here.
12 mana monster, and if you have melee can attack from everywhere, just imagine buffing this dude. He's not dragon,
Okay.
he's a neutral monster.
Oh, and I've got to go. Oh, all cards. This guy,
No, yes, exactly. Drybone
Drybone.
Raider. Look
So,
at Drybone Raider in silver and gold. Look at this.
mm, mm.
And this gets buffed. I mean, just imagine he does 8 damage, just physical damage, and then he does 6 damage archery damage with cripple.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, from because you could play this in a high mana match. You could play this in the 5th spot or the
Yeah.
4th spot and do the camo play you talked about, and then you're gonna get melee from any position sort of rule sets. And there's 3 of them, right? There's super sneak, there's equal opportunity, and there's the other one where all melee attacks the front line. So you could get and you would be amping both of it, and then bring a res to that. Hey, bring a res to that, and then. But I guess you are counting on
Yes.
this build we're describing would almost, where it would be really strong, where you knew where it was a super sneak rule set. If it's a super
Yes.
sneak rule
Super
set,
Sneak too.
you can count on your opponent. Like for one, dry bone raider would be powerful because it could super sneak. But for two, you would know that your opponent's melee damage output is going to attack your fifth spot, which is the Vruz. And maybe you're gonna dodge because of speed, but maybe you're not, and he's gonna go down, and he's gonna martyr, and he's gonna pump up your dry bone one that we just looked at there. This guy, that's pretty fun. That's fun to think about.
It's it's going to be real fun. Just imagine like 8 melee damage and 6 archery. He can take out a tank on his own because he has also the ability to break shields.
Yep, shatter, cripple, and even a big shield, even a big like Bakjira or a cube, that cripple is gonna because you're hitting 4 times. That's gonna
Yes.
land and just eat up life hit points. Plus the shatter, if they're counting on armor, gone in the first hit. And archery goes before melee, so the archery attack, which is the lesser of one of your attacks, is gonna land, and it's gonna shatter all armor, whether it's 1 or 20, and then your melee, which is the bigger of your attacks, is gonna hit afterwards. So that'll be a maximizing of your damage output.
Absolutely.
This
No, I
card's
think
amazing.
there were fun combinations.
Hmm.
And
But
Russ, I think he's amazing. You said you would go for a gold one. Probably what I would say is because in Champ I encounter so many plays where um kind of speed is
mhm,
so prevalent
mhm.
that you cannot hit some monsters.
Yeah,
Um, that's why I would say it's very very important if you play in Champ to
yeah.
have the true strike.
I think I'm agreeing. I think I actually agree with you. What I mean to say is that this is the break point I need to have, and this is the
Yeah.
break point I really, really want to have because you're right. There's so much between the enrage rule sets and between the 2 plus Jasic or Kitty or all the speed that's out there. Blind is a problem. Dodge
Yes.
now
Why?
with the new Dragon
Yes.
Legendary. So this is going to be really helpful, but also one more speed is no joke. You're talking another 10% chance to avoid. You're going to be firing first. And we're talking about low mana kind of partners for this guy. We have to remember also there's that archer that gives for the dragon that gives the increased speed. It's an archer. What's it called? It's a reward, I think, isn't it? No, it's a Chaos Legion. Oh, it's not a sneak. The 2 mana archer.
Oh, you mean the neutral archer?
No, he's definitely a dragon. There he is, Naga Assassin.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
Because at the champion level, you're getting that swiftness. So you're talking your Vruz is actually going to have 8 speed. Because I would argue that I would almost always put those in for when you get these cards that are that. In my opinion, Vruz is really really strong, and so is Naga. And when you get these cards that are really strong, they do a fair amount of damage, 2 damage for a 2 mana cost. They've got really significant speed and maybe other benefits like the swiftness or in the other case, the martyr. Those are going to be almost always played because not only are they good, not only are they strong. If you're playing Dragon, they're just so affordable from the mana perspective. They let certain other options happen. So you can imagine with 2 mana and 2 mana, you're only at 4. You could put like a more substantive tank in. Maybe you do an aggro longtail and you're still probably under 30 mana even with your summoner. It's like these guys that are 1 or 2 mana, and there's that new Soulbound reward card that's 1, and it's just a meat shield. But when you get these 1 or 2 mana or 0 mana cost cards, it's like they really allow you to build out a six man squad, and that's why they get so much. In my opinion, they become more integral to almost every sort of build because they slip in to different spots, and that their low mana cost makes them flexible.
Absolutely. And you could even tap into the speed thing even more if you play the quicks.
Yep.
You have -1 speed, so then basically the speed difference is 8. Then you just throw in a blind and he's not hittable anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Unless they've got True Strike of their own, and that while it is, I said a few weeks back, True Strike there needs to be more cards with True Strike, and I think that's already that's what the because I think the speed meta
I
is.
think you have Rooney as well who has True Strike.
Mhm. Why am I not seeing others here?
No, it's just two in Chaos Legion.
Oh, I see. I was looking at Chaos. True, and it Strike. So there's quite a few cards here, but if you look at like the different splinters, 3 for fire, 2 for life, 1 for water, 2 for death, 1 for green, and then with dragon they have the summoner. So, but of course it's rare. So I just think this is because speed has been such a thing. It's been such a control in the game recently between blind and phase and dodge and +2 speeds and whatnot. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we saw probably one more True Strike for maybe death, probably 1 or 2 for green, 1 or 2 for green, or sorry, blue, and so that would be substantive. That would be pushing back against what is currently, in my opinion, one of the strongest metas, which is just speed. And in some sense, this card is both pushing back against the speed meta because of the True Strike, but it's also feeding into the speed meta because of the 7 speed it's got, which is fun.
Just imagine him being a tank in certain rule sets
Yeah. Good
with the
luck.
speed. Yeah, you boost him up, and then
Yeah.
here we go. Probably 8 or 9
Yeah.
speed. You can't hit him anymore. I think there were older cards from the wild set in where was it in Fire
Okay.
who were designed like this. I really like the play with them.
Older like betas, you think? And
Yeah, I think wasn't it Serpentine Soldier, who
yeah,
got the kind of the evade later on,
do-
dodge
dodge, and
and speed,
and it's got 6
speed,
speed at the higher levels, like the gold plus levels.
and you made it faster and slowed the enemy. He was barely hittable. And there's another one. I think wasn't it a snake or there? It is Serpent of Flame.
Yep, 6 speed. It doesn't have like a dodge or anything like that, but in enrage rule sets, these end up being, especially if Magix is not present, they end up being really nasty.
Yeah, I could imagine in the right rule set you could play him as well as a tank.
Oh yeah.
And then the thing is, if you have a decent monster in the second position and it gets buffed by when it's killed, you have a second really strong tank.
So we don't. I know you have to go soon. We haven't talked about. I think we've done a good job of sharing our excitement for this new card, and I'm going to check them with the chat in a minute, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this card. So let me know. I haven't looked at it yet, but I want to maybe finish this conversation or like move toward an end of it around like where is this card in terms of where is its price likely to land. I think we talked before we went live about it's not going to be cheap. If you look at it's going to take a voucher to get one of these things, and vouchers are currently probably 12 cents. That's what they were yesterday.
12 cents, yeah.
12 and a half. The price is ticking up, it looks like. But this is clearly a strong card just from its utility perspective. And I think Dragon from a sneak attack perspective, I don't know that those are fair comparisons. What is this?
Shinlo is not a fair comparison.
What is this card like? It's maybe it's something. No, it's nothing like. See, it's like it's kind of like a Kobold Miner in that it's a strong sneak attack, but it has Martyr, guys, and it has 7 speed, not 5, and it has True Strike. It's Dragon, not Fire, so it's like way, in my mind, way better than the card like that. Is there a comparable in your mind?
The only card that I would compare it to, because it has a similar distribution pattern, would be Artemis the Bear.
So
it's not the same from a utility perspective. It's a completely different profile. But Yeah, there is none. Probably the Badger because he's a 2 mana sneak card.
Hmm. The Badger or the Cobalt Miner are the only, I think, two mana sneak cards melee. But then they don't have any of the kit that the new Vruz will. And
But
then
what you
to
could see is, for example, the Badger and also the Skeleton Assassin. They're highly sought after if you look on the rental market
mhm.
in the top leagues.
Is that right?
So those cards, yes, you pay probably for a Badger when the season is already going on, probably 200 DC per day.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's
I think
quite an expensive card to rent. And the same thing, Sandworm, all the non-reward cards that are usable for the sneak meta.
yeah. I think this
Pretty
card is
expensive.
I think this card is going to be absolutely meta, and I think it's going to, you're right. It's not really like any of these because although it's similar in that it's sneak, in that it's melee, it's 2 mana, which is on the lowest scale that is here, right? There's only two cards that are 2 mana. There's the Shinlo, which is one, but it's a totally different thing. Um, and I don't. It's still not the Cobalt or the Dragon, or sorry, the Death one are just not comparable because they don't have Martyr, and that's a massive. They don't have True Strike. They don't have 7 speed. They're not Dragon, and so then I think you're right. It really has to come down to you have to look at the bear, and
Could be Artemis, and I probably want to throw in one thought.
mm,
There is this opportunity monster in the white team for 2 mana with
oh
True
yeah, he's
Strike
good. I
and a
like
lot
him.
of speed. Me
Um,
too. He's used very often in low mana match. No, not him.
mm,
Volgin is good, but it's not the one. It's there. He is Celestial Harpy.
I don't see it. Oh yeah, he has True Strike.
Uh, yeah, next to the Time Mage.
Time Meddler.
Down, down, down.
Time Mage.
Yep,
Okay,
there he
Celestial
is.
Harper. Yeah, the Harpy's got the True Strike, the 2 mana cost, quite a bit slower. But you're right. This is maybe an interesting comparable. Like it's at least the True Strike is significant, but 4 speed to 7 to 7. Um,
And then you have what you can compare in order to kind of think about a possible price could be the print rate. How many BCX will there be, and how many BCX do we have of the Harpy? I mean, the Harpy is part of Chaos Legion, where we had 15 million Chaos Legion packs, so it's there are a lot of them
huh.
flying around.
Yeah, let's have a look at that card because I think it's 8 million. I think it might be 8 million, but let me have a peek because our so there was 400,000. Okay, 400,000 copies of this card printed. Um, so I mean that's in my mind we are going to be in somewhere in that range of print, but then I don't think this is selling for 20 cents. First of all, I think this might be undervalued at 20 cents, this card. But then I don't really think a dragon 2 mana cost that is with this one has 4 speed at the highest levels, and we're talking 7, and we're talking martyr also. I think this is something. This gives you a flavor. But I think we're easily selling Vruz for 20 cents.
And now have a look at the bear.
Yeah.
Just to, I would say if you put kind of the bear and the Celestial Harpy as some reference points,
Hmm.
it can give you an idea where we might land.
Yeah. And I think the Bears got 800,000 copies, and I think we're going to have less than that for sure. Like, I feel
Yes.
confident we're going to have, no more than 500,000 copies printed. We can see
Mhm.
how SPS, let's see if SPS's stake is growing. Ooh, the stake went up another 5 million. No, almost 6 million since like my last video talking about this, which means people are actually, I think it means people are actually moving toward more, they want more copies of Ruz. Um, but this isn't going to grow more than at most, I don't know. I don't even know how to guess, but it's not gonna double. And so we're talking definitely there's going to be fewer Ruzzes. One thing to think about, guys, if you're listening to this, if you're staking, for instance, it's every 1,000 SPS. If you're like at 980, like you should figure it out and get that right before the screen. What's it called? The screenshot takes place.
For maintenance, yeah, before maintenance on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, and just make sure you get that extra one because you're going to want it because it's going to be a 12-cent purchase because you spent a voucher on it, and it's going to sell for at least 20 cents, and I actually think more because I don't think Celestial Harpy is a comparable for a few reasons we laid out. It is and it isn't. And then the Archimus is selling for about 35 cents, and I think this is again something of a comparable because I'm getting promo, but this has 800,000 copies versus what I think will end up being maybe 450,000 copies of the new Sneak. And Archimus neutral, great, but Vruz Dragon. So I kind of think this is going to be in that 30 to 40 cent range per BCX.
My guesstimation was 50 cents.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, and again, not financial advice, I'm waiting an hour after it comes out, and then I'm buying my 400 copies of it because
Yeah.
the price is just going up from a certain point. I remember the bear being, I think, 15, and look where it's now. The bear is like 35. It was 38 cents earlier.
Was the bear only 15 at one point? That's
Yes,
wild.
yes, yes. Because the bear came out at the Christmas sale, and there were those bulk buys. So what happened there is, and I was in the same kind of in the same group.
Yeah.
I got my 400, and then I got a couple of spare, and I sold them just to pay for the packs that I bought to kind of to get kind of airdrop points.
Mm.
And yeah, this is why there was a lot of supply in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be rare. If I can get it below 30, I'm definitely going to buy a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Me too, man. I definitely think if it's in the 20-cent range, like I said, could be part of the conversation. And Butters goes, this is where my head's at. If Ruz goes for 20 cents, I will try to max. I will keep a close eye on the price. I think it may start off lower than go higher. If it starts lower than 20 cents, I will buy every copy. If it's even at 20 cents, I will buy actively until I get my at least max copy. If it makes it in that 30-cent range and I don't have my max copy, I'll still be a buyer, but I'll be patient and I'll kind of watch what's happening. And I do think in that 40-50 cents is like where it probably from a utility standpoint, when people actually see it winning matches and how it works in the utility, I think it will drive the price higher. But having said that, maybe people already are going to watch videos like this, and I don't know what Aftersound said, but others are going to cover the card. Maybe it's just going to be well known that this card's amazing. What I mean to say is presumed that it will be amazing, and maybe there will be no kind of quiet before the storm. Maybe it'll just be straight out the gates, trying to sell for $1, and in which case I would be patient and just wait. And because I don't think it's a dollar card, I do think it's probably. It could easily be 50 cents, though. That's fun.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think you should make a video when you did your purchase and not before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, after I get it all, this card's amazing, guys.
Yeah, let's do kind of a confirmation in guild chat and say like, okay, who got it? Okay, we all got it. Now we can release the video and say like how amazing it is.
There's a meme about cryptocurrency where it's like the powers that be. They're like, okay, pump it, and then then it's like cancel it or whatever. But man. That's over an hour, dude. And you said you had to go. I don't want to keep you. I'd like to see the 8% pump on SPS today. DEC's above 800 Splintoshis. Man, I think some fun things, some fun fireworks are in the future for crypto and for Splinterlands, even though we started this conversation with some of those concerns, and I want those taken seriously. But man, this is fun times. So I'll ask you yeah, man, thanks for coming out and thanks for inviting this conversation because this was your idea. And is anything you want to share with the people? Last thoughts about this or anything else?
No, I've seen who is in the chat right now, and all those people are really hardcore fans. So I really enjoy, probably a last thing that I want to say, I really enjoy being around you guys. It's a great time. It's a amazing community, amazing support in the guild. I mean, many of them are TNA. So it's a fun ride with you guys, and whenever I can share or help, just hit me up for whatever. I love the game. I love playing. I love theorizing around the game. And yeah, I want to be part of contributing to the community as well.
Hmm. You are. You definitely are. In like these conversations that we have offline, or where he's given me like tips on how to win the brawls and like prepared me. And lately I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pleased with myself. I think I went 5-2 last time, and I'm fighting like
You were
gold.
great, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fighting like some serious decks, like 14 million power, 10 million. So yeah, thank you for everything you do for the guild, but also for this game. Even just being a voice that sparks conversations like this. This is important. We need people that actually care to talk about these complicated things. Otherwise, they don't get concerned. They don't get considered. I mean, and we do want our team, the team, to recognize some of the maybe the hurdles or the red flags that the community sees, because there are blinders on the devs at times. Like right now, I bet they're so fixated on land. I don't know that they're taking this seriously. I hope that this video will be one where it kind of prompts some new conversations. I don't know if there'll be easy answers. There probably won't be. But hard conversations are worth having, and thoughtful approach to difficult situations can often garner, if not perfect solutions, improvements. So let's be on them, and let's be active as community members, like to try and facilitate that through Discord, through town hall conversations, etc. And just thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate you. And guys, I'm not done yet, but Luinicisa is going to wrap here. Oscar, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
All the best. Have fun, guys.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.
I am super pumped about this card, and I think I can see from the chat you guys are too. This one looks like an absolute it's almost an opposite of Archimus in that, well, not neutral but dragon, not 12 mana but 2, not this huge tank but this like support monster. And yet I think they're both going to be deeply desired. I can't look at that card and say and think that it's going to be, what's the word, overlooked. I can't imagine. I cannot look at this. Looking at these stats, even at the bronze level, this strikes me as a card that you're going to want. I can't imagine who would look at this and say no, unless it's a price point. That's the only path. If the price gets away and it's certainly selling for $1 a BCX or something crazy like that, then I could imagine people saying, okay, I'm not spending $400 on a one card. But barring a 50-cent price point or $1 price point, I think this is a card that everybody who has liquid cash or a little bit of funding is going to really want. It's going to strongly benefit you. I personally think that second melee is super, super important. But man, he's right. The True Strike is key. And if you can get it all the way to 400, I'm absolutely going to try. But this is also a card I think long-term will have massive price appreciation. I don't mean like that 50 cents that we talked about. I mean, this is a card that I think will be absolutely key for the wild format forever. I actually think that. I really think this is going to be absolutely amazing. One of the best sneak attack cards in the game because of the 2 mana, because of the martyr, because of the fast intrinsic speed. And I think single copies are going to be a worthwhile long-term hold. So if you can get whatever card you want, if you can get like a level 10 because that's what you want, or if you can get a level 5 because that's what you want, and then simultaneously have extra BCX of this thing, I think this is the sort of card that will be a great long-term hold, because it's so useful. And I think the observation of its power will grow and grow and grow as it's being used. And I think that will drive price up because it'll drive demand up. Plus, with all cards, with every card in this game, there's a set supply that shrinks because of the consolidation, and that is a product that drives price appreciation. When you combine that practice with, and that practical, I guess, fundamental consideration with its utility, because it has tons of utility, and it's dragon, by the way, which means it's so interchangeable, and there's gonna be so many cool things you can do with that martyr and with that sneak for that 2 mana. This card to me strikes me as it's going to be a very expensive card one day. And I think immediately it's going to be better than that 12 cents you're spending on your oh, look at this, voucher prices spiking. You guys out there just rushing, maybe it's the community rushing out and buying up vouchers. It's up another penny almost. People buying vouchers desperately because they want their Archimises, or I mean their new sneak monsters. But yeah, I think this is deeply powerful. Eli said thank you to Oscu. Lou, how did he say it? Luinicisa. Thanks for hanging. Love these interactions, discussions, priceless. Yeah, me too, man. I really hope I can get one with the limited funds I have. Yeah, that's the thing. If it's not going to be cheap as sneak attack monsters go, but it's more than a sneak attack monster. So it's like recognizing that kit, and then is this going to move the needle for you? Because if it's 40 cents of BCX and if it costs, or if it's 50 cents of BCX, you're talking $200 per max level. If this card is going to move the needle for $200, on your deck, what else could $200 do? And how would, comparatively, how might that help you? Guys, my throat's starting to hurt, so I'm going to wrap up here. But yeah, thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I'm going to continue with these weekly lives for you guys only. And yeah, thanks for listening to our conversation, me and Oscu there. Amazing conversation, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you have an amazing day too. And it's Thursday, but for me it's Friday. This is my end of my work week, so I hope you have an amazing weekend, and just thank you for supporting the channel. We are getting, before I go, we're getting pretty close to the land raffle. We are currently, with the March names of you guys, you who support the channel, with the March names in circulation or on my list, we are at 160 raffle tickets that have been handed out. And so we are probably 3, maybe 4 months away. I think it's probably closer to 3 months away before we give away a plot of land. And so, you guys, many of you will have multiple raffle tickets. It's probably going to be 3 to 5, maybe possibly 6. It depends on how many months you've been here, right? But so I hope one of you guys will get it, and that'll be fun. That'll be coming relatively within the next 4 months. I'm excited. So thanks again, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye for now.